Alright, folks. So today we're going to be talking about the first layer of the cultural pyramid, which is the second part of the political system that is designed based off of more reality. So basically, there are 8 different types of familial systems, and they are represented on the pyramid as different colors for the bottom third. All right, so let's take a look at this. So here we have lines representing relation. All right, 2 lines going between 2 different familial systems means that is a really close relationship. So take, for example, absolute nuclear. Even though absolute nuclear is related to equal nuclear and exogamous clan, it is more closely related to anomic than it is to the other 2, and vice versa. Alright, so basically I've split between 2 parts. One side where both sides are like really closely related to each other directly, and then they also relate to each other. For example, anomic is related to authoritarian and antimetric, just like absolute nuclear is related to equal nuclear and exogamous clan. So they're all interrelated. They're all related to at least 3 different familial systems, but they're guaranteed to be closely related to one. Alright, so let's actually look at what these familial systems look like. Starting with absolute nuclear. Absolute nuclear is categorized by 2 things. First thing is there's a lot of personal autonomy with younger family members, and there's a lot of familial competition within the family. Alright, so basically the family dynamic is designed to be competitive but also autonomous. And basically what that produces is it produces this idea that competition and freedom are linked. So in this sense, I would consider absolute nuclear freedom to be more along the lines of individualist freedom. So their ideal political system would be more of like a minarchism, a capitalistic minarchism. We then have its closest relative, anomic. The anomic familial system is categorized by an apathetic attitude to how you structure the family. So effectively, this should be the familial system that isn't a familial system. It's kind of like 0 being a number. It doesn't really have a structure in particular. So one thing that this looks like is it's typically categorized by people not really caring anything about incestual relationships, pedophilic, zoophilic, homosexual, or heterosexual relationships. They literally just do not care. They don't care how you structure your family. They don't care at all. But the fact is that even the absence of a familial structure is in and of itself a familial structure. So it actually applies itself to politics. In terms of politics, these people are much more likely to pursue anarchist egoism, or basically any form of egoism, really. And this familial system has been shown to increase objectivity in their worldviews. So moving on, let's go to equal nuclear. Alright, so equal nuclear is a nuclear familial system, which means it's going to be characterized by very high personal autonomy in terms of younger family members. It's also characterized, because it's the equal part, it's characterized by a cooperative internal familial structure. So the inside of the family is more cooperative. I would describe this family's view of freedom as being more of the democratic definition of freedom rather than individualism. So with these types of people, they view more like direct control as freedom, whereas an individualist, a person who is an individualist, they would view more along the lines of how much chaos is in your society. We then move on to equal nuclear's closest relative, which is the animatric familial system. And the animatric familial system is characterized by the uncles of both sides of a new couple's family, basically arranging the marriage. So if you have two people finding each other, then the marriage will be approved by all of the uncles on both sides. This has been shown to make corruption easier to address, and the ideal political system for it has also been shown to be more like democratic socialism or orthodox Marxism. We then move on to exogamous clan. So an exogamous clan is basically very different from a nuclear familial system because it is characterized by almost no autonomy for younger family members. So younger family members almost have no autonomy. However, with exogamous clan in particular, you have very cooperative families. So the internal familial structure is very cooperative. Typically, these kinds of people favor more of like either a Baha'i governmental system or an absolute technocracy. Either or will work. We then move on to exogamous clan, its closest familial system, which is the flexible familial system. This familial system is characterized by the extreme application of polygamy. Basically, it is polygamy driven to the extreme. So, it is not uncommon for places that have the flexible familial system for 30% of the women to belong to around 5% of the men. So the flexible system has been observed to be more effective in combat and to favor a more military junta type government. Basically, in these type of societies, might makes right. We then have exogamous clan. Because it's a clan structure, it also has almost no autonomy for younger family members, but the way it differs with exogamous clan is that it has very competitive internal familial structure, meaning that within their families, they are very competitive. And then we have the exogamous clan, its closest relative, which is the authoritarian familial system, which is all about succession. So basically, under the authoritarian familial system, birth order is critically important. The oldest children always have almost all of the responsibility and almost all of the favor. So they kind of get a double-edged sword in this element, but basically the oldest living sibling gets most of the responsibility and most of the favor. This familial system has been observed to preserve traditions for much longer than other familial systems, and this familial system has also been observed to favor more classical fascist type societies. So there's that. Alright, I hope you liked this video and I hope you learned something. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you want to support the channel. See y'all!